Don Wilcock. I've been writing about music more than 40 years, being a columnist for the Troy Record. And nationally, I've written for Blues Music Magazine, American Blues Scene, and going back, I always make sure that I've got 3 or 4 different publications that I write for because I'm a workaholic. So I probably turn out 3 or 4 pieces a week. I write as if my life depended on it, because it did. My first experience writing about music was for the Army Reporter, and Army headquarters, long been Vietnam, in 1969. One of my jobs there was to edit the daily world newspaper. I had an Associated Press machine, and I would take the stories off AP and put them in order of what I thought was most important for my demographic, which was 35,000 people in headquarters that were running the war effort. I also had a friend, Bill Nowlin, whom I had gone to college with at Tufts University, and he would go on to found Rounder Records, which was the largest independent record label in the world. He and I would write to each other, and he said, "Why don't you see if you can get a column in an official Army newspaper, and I'll try to get free copies of albums from all the major labels." That's where I started writing for the Army Reporter. You know, the rest is just history. I've talked to the most famous people in my world by the thousands. It's never ceased to be exciting to me. Every day to me is exciting. But the fun part was writing about famous people. I mean, in 1977, I was supposed to do an interview with Jerry Garcia. He didn't call on time, and I had to go to a show. He called later that evening and said to my wife, "Well, I'll call back tomorrow." And I thought to myself, Jerry Garcia's gonna call Don Wilcock tomorrow. Yeah, in your dreams. I think I saw an angel. Woo! Just walk by. I was a guy that wrote Buddy Guy's authorized biography. In retrospect, I had no idea what I was doing. But everybody liked it. And I think the reason they liked it was because I was interviewing all these rock stars for the Troy Record, and I would ask them what they thought of Buddy Guy. So I put that in the book. It was an authorized biography, and it helped take him from a club act into being a world-renowned artist. I do a lot of stuff today about artists that are not well known at all. I've been writing at least 1, 2, or 3 columns a week since 1969. I remember when the idea came to me to start Kite. I was at a show at Union College, and somebody said to me, "Hey, did you know that the Jefferson Airplane are going to play State University of Albany?" Well, nobody reported what was going on the campuses in those days. None of the dailies did. If you weren't on that campus, you didn't know that was happening. That's what I did with Kite, and it was, couldn't make any money at it. Lost my shirt at it. Well, I have a cliched answer to what's my favorite interview. It's always the next one. I've forgotten probably 90% of everything that I've done on those interviews because I've got it all down on paper. If I'm doing my job right, 20 minutes into the interview, they've completely forgotten that they're being interviewed. So all of a sudden, this stuff comes out that they haven't given anybody else. I may be talking to somebody who's done, 50,000 interviews in 30 years, and I'll get something out of that person that he's never told anybody else in an interview. And that's what I pride myself on. I do a lot of work for the King Biscuit Blues Festival in Helena, Arkansas, right on the Mississippi River, which is, it's like heaven on earth to me, that place. What I did with the Northeast Blues Society is unprecedented in the way that it brought blues to the forefront. Because what it did was, it took us from being a regional organization to one that had strings and connections worldwide. The first artist that I sent down to the Blues Music Awards in Memphis was George Boone, and we did a concert to raise money for him to go down to Memphis. It's exciting now to be involved with Nippertown, because Nippertown is the 21st century version of Kite. I've always wanted to be in my hometown newspaper and never got to it, and now at 79, I've been in it like 6 times. When you put it next to all the different publications that I've edited or written for, it would seem the Schenectady Gazette is small potatoes, but it's my hometown newspaper. I was born in Schenectady. I love this city.